think we are live. Let me just go to YouTube. There we are. Okay. Hit the thumbs up button because it does matter. Let's see. And I'll start it off with TrendSpider. I added a new graphic down below too. You can't click here, but click the description down at the bottom. We're going to edit our GarageBand, and then we're going to start some scans. I am morning Zephin. I am going to let's see. Let us know. Let me do this. Bum, 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 bum. The TrendSpider sale is continuing, but, and I'm going to have to go with a white t-shirt because, let's see, airdrop, Gary's MacBook, and it should come over. We're going to copy and then go to OBS. Morning, Hung. And then I'm going to pin that comment. This is for people who haven't signed up for TrendSpider. Pin message. There we go. Okay, hold on 1 second. Oh, man. Let's just say that's an advertisement for MagSafe. Now I gotta set this up again. Advertisement for MagSafe right there. Oh, I clicked the power cord. Almost dragged everything off the desk, but not quite. Man, I hate this fucking desk. I hate this thing. Yeah, I'll look at REI, Hung. I'll add it to the list. God. Okay, if anybody just saw that. Essentially what happened was I went to get out of this 1920s fucking desk. I'm ready to go home to Atlanta. TrendSpider sale. We're going to do scans. I type these in. Bum, 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 bum. I got a lot to go over today, too. If you guys haven't, I'll add forward. Let me get my notes up. Put that over there. We'll put in REI and Ford. Ford's a hype play. By the way, I was just reading. Morning, Mosin. I was just reading about a CNBC driver. I'll put it up here. A CNBC reporter. Let me see. We'll copy. And if anybody wants to read it, it's an interesting article on hands-free driving from Ford, GM, and Tesla. And I will tell you, I don't agree with the Tesla assessment. Being a Tesla driver, I don't agree with the Tesla assessment, but it was an interesting read. I'd be interested in hearing what you guys think about that one. I'm not going to pin the article, but it was definitely interesting. Let me scan real quick. I did some scans yesterday afternoon, so this chart is just going to be ugly. God, is that a bullish run? So I added in some double bottoms here. If you guys have TrendSpider up here at the top, I think you can see it. There's chart patterns. You can click those 3 buttons. You can add in whatever you want. The double top, I have the ascending triangle. I didn't put the descending or the symmetrical, but I've got the double bottom because I'm more of a long than a short. And you can request new patterns if you want. But, God, how does this work? You got some bottoms there. See that green? That's part of the double bottom. Because if I take the watch, I'll take that double bottom out. Boom. Comes up here. It's sometimes a little confusing, but I do like to see the double bottom come in. But you can clearly see, look at the bull run. Hits the double bottom, boom, takes off. And now Etsy. I don't think I want to bring that up. AMD, God, the chips have just been so... See, look at that run. You hit the double bottom, then you take off. Walmart. Oh, I do need to bring up... there we go. Costco, Walmart, and Snow. They had cross-ups. Let's look at our core investments. I think it's going to come up with the same thing. Costco, Snow. Is Walmart not in my core investments? Yeah, it is. I was going to say, Jesus. Let's look at the low-cost ETFs. Nope, there's nothing in there. Let's look at sectors. I don't think there's going to be anything in sectors. Nope. We will look at my own personal watch list, which I haven't shared with folks. Yeah, Mitt, I saw. I'll bring up Micron earnings. I haven't looked at Hold on. Let me go. I got to bring this over here. I'm going to go to Active Trader Pro. Let's say. I think everything's losing it, to be honest with you. David Tepper just came on and was like, yeah, it's back to almost where we bought it at $40.50. Tepper killed the market, if you didn't see that interview, by the way. Admit, if you think Tesla is way ahead on self-driving, I tend to agree with you. But if you haven't tried it yet, I have a Tesla. I think there's a couple other people on here with Teslas too, and it's let's just say it's more stressful driving on full self-driving than anything. Deere had a cross up. Tractor Supply again. JP Morgan had a cross up. Delta Airlines. I think it was somebody got in at Delta Airlines, morning Cooper, and then got out. If you guys watch Marquez Brown, MKBHD, whatever his name is on YouTube, he's got a great self-driving Tesla video from the last week. Look at Massimo. You got some double bottoms in there. Annaly Capital. Boy, that's got an ascending triangle. But check out how it... No, I'm not going to bring that up. Okay, let's go to the Dow 30. This is going to be probably just Walmart. Oh, Verizon. Oh, yeah, Nike got one too. Let's see. Double bottom. Takeoff. It's not a huge takeoff. You went from 35 to 38. Enough that I would have been happy. Double bottom. Boom. Nike. JP Morgan. Look at that double bottom. You just can't time it, though. Let's see, W. Well, I won't. We'll go to the Dow 30. I'm not bringing any of these up. Honestly, it's probably TSLQ day. I'm not doing ARCs. With yesterday, ARCs are going to be, the ARC is going to have a shit ton of cross-ups. You know what? Maybe I don't do scans today. Costco's the one that I like. Although Costco, I mean, they, again, if they do a membership increase, but do you do a membership increase into a pending recession? That's going to be the big question. Let's go to S&P 100. BlackRock. Will you get BlackRock under that 200 day at some point? I don't want to bring it up. AIG, I traded AIG through the 2008, 2009 housing crisis. Citigroup, the last financial to get actual cross up. Shitty bank. Oh, shitty bank. Nike, Verizon. Yeah, see, I don't see anything. Let's look at the energy sector. I still think energy's got to take off at some point, but I'm not an economist. Yeah, TSLI and TSLQ. You know what else is killing it, by the way? Let's go back to the algorithm. Run. Bum, 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 bum. Look at Citigroup. Right before earnings. It's got a gap up here between 45 pennies. Not much. But you know what else has been killing it? KOLD. Look at that move. Here's the core portfolio. We're going to be down quite a bit, by the way. Tepper didn't do near enough. Did too much talking. If you guys weren't watching CNBC, David Tepper, who's a famous hedge fund manager and personal friends with Joe on CNBC. They talk offline all the time because Joe brags about it. But God, KOLD, yeah. Look at that. It's got its confirmation. It's got some gaps. Huh. Okay, let me look at my notes. I'm not putting any scans in. I got enough to go over. Okay. I got Ford, REI. I'll go over Tesla too. Because Carter Worth, by the way, I'll bring it up. Carter Worth on, let me bring up. Carter Worth on CNBC. He's the chart guy. But he brought up yesterday, and I posted it. We no longer want to be short Tesla. Our thinking here is to initiate some longs. And this is from his website. This is his Tesla. This is the RSI. And look at the RSI down there. Look at what happened the last time RSI got down there. You know, it was down there back here too. Kind of just went flat. Boom, boom, boom. So are we in for the next leg up? He does say the difference between myself and Carter Worth, small longs. He's not backing up the Brinks truck. Good deals, Evan. Hung, I think you wrote to me on Facebook yesterday. Should I get out? I think I scolded you, Hung. I said, don't listen to a guy on the internet. And by all means, do not listen to Jim Cramer. Okay. Yeah, KOLD. That 1740 was the right call. Let me look at my portfolio real quick. Did I put Wells Fargo in there? Yeah. My stop on Wells Fargo, by the way, is 36. So if it goes below 36, I make the determination: do I buy more? Because I only bought 20% of what I wanted. Devon Energy is positive. Baba is positive. Those are the only two positive in my portfolio. Here's KOLD. Look, you did get out of that. Here's KOLD. And we'll kind of, here, I'm going to do this. If you guys who have TrendSpider don't know, in the upper right-hand corner, I just learned this, and maybe I'm just a moron, but you can get rid of the strategy tester down below by in the upper right-hand corner, there's a camera. That's how you share it. And then there's a full screen option. And so you can keep your algorithm or your strategy testers in the window with your buys and sells, and you can just make it much, much larger. Now, that means that you guys can't see the bottom with the MACD and things of that sort on the screen, because I do zoom in on the charts. I can alter it a little bit. Let's see. We'll go to Safari. Shrink this down a little bit. I do it so you guys can see the charts when I want to see down below, because the performance is pretty important too. But here's KOLD, and it did get you in at 1296 right there. And you can, let's pull this volume shelf back to the highs. When you're doing volume shelf on TrendSpider, you want it back to the highs, back to I should say the most recent highs. My problem is if I pulled it back here, I don't think you'd have enough kind of days in there. But you can see right here, the MACD is super, super high. See right below that graphic down there. And it is still, by the way, the holiday sale on TrendSpider. So if you guys want TrendSpider, it's the best charting platform out there. I did my research. I looked at TradingView. I liked TradingView, and I think TradingView, the free version, actually is a pretty damn good version for you guys. I just didn't find it super helpful, because the difference was I wanted something that would alert me and text me and email me, because like you guys, I had a life. I had a job. I had responsibilities. I didn't want to be sitting by the door. So TrendSpider gave me the opportunity to alert. So I tried all the other ones, and it's similar to me trying all the other brokerage houses. Fidelity's just the one that did well for me. But look at the volume shelf here. And you had a clear, right here at 12, clear volume shelf. So that should have been, like, people were loading up on this down there. it did go down. You saw the volume kind of pick up. You're seeing the volume kind of just wane off, and you're seeing kind of a button hook. Now, here's the killer. This is how quick these things move. So here you had a 10%. During that day, you had a 10% move. This is just the morning candle of November 30th. And it got you in at 1296. So that's the algorithm. So if you would have bought on the next candle at 1296, it opened at 1340. So you probably couldn't have gotten it at 1296. But if you got it at this candle and recognized the button hook that I always talk about, then you got in there. And you've got this gap between 12 and 19. This candle, it got you back in at 1746. It's kind of putting in that button hook. Now, here's what you have to realize from the last button hook. Look at that at 22, okay? Within a couple of days, you were out, but you only got a 2% gain. And the reason you only got a 2% gain is because your ass was greedy as fuck. That's why. So, don't be greedy as F. I shouldn't curse. But you know what you should do? You should hit the like button. But see, this is why you need more indicators. And you guys can't see it. Here, I'll go back here. Okay. This is why you need more than one indicator. You can't just look at the chart. You can't just look at the MACD. You can't do anything. Look at the RSI. And, you know, if I brought stochastics in here, this is why you want to learn indicators as well. Stochastics they move a little bit faster than the RSI, and it kind of gives you a sense of where the RSI is going. And if you want to know about stochastics, investopedia.com, and you just search for stochastics. Oh. Stochastic oscillator versus stochastic momentum. So this is the stochastic oscillator. Boom, boom, boom. So if you want to look at it, just go and read investopedia.com. If you want to know anything, just go to investopedia.com. Cooperman, we don't wish, we take action. If you miss it, it's not the end of the world. Exxon's up. Looks like energy's actually taking a leg up. This is my ADHD, by the way. I don't want to start the podcast, so. XLE. You're in at 87. It's at 86.37. You got some double bottoms here. Let me take those double bottoms out. I've been playing with them. They're brand new, by the way, some of those automatic ones in TrendSpider. It's good. What did I buy in here? See, it's using the 200-day as a support level. The 200 days at 82. Look at that run from 72, 27%. I think I would. I mean, I'm holding a bunch of energy. I got, pretty well into the six figures in energy. It's a lot of money. So here's a good example. XLE. And you guys, it's behind my my head, but right where you see my camera, just to the left, you'll see a performance chart. That 74.64% that you see, that's how the algorithm performs on XLE. And you can see all of these entries and exits, okay? You have within 1,000 candles. Here, I'll change this to, we'll go to a 3,000 candles. You see that 74 go up to 76. Now, here's the killer. This is the killer. So when I went 1,000 candles, okay, the 74.64%, that's the performance of the algorithm. If you bought and held, you would have made 125%. We changed that to 3,000 candles. The algorithm doesn't change much. It actually makes you a little bit more at 76.8%. But here's the killer. Buying and holding only made you 14%. That's over 3,000 candles. So that's, since there's 2 candles in a trading day, because I do it on a 4-hour trading day, that's 1,500 days. 1,000 candles is 500 trading days. That's why I do it, because I think it's a little bit more realistic when I look at that. But because we've had such a bull market and you've had such a bear market in XLE just isn't performing as well over the time. So, but within 3,000 candles, you have 86 positions. You win 30% of the time. Your average win is 9.11. That's in XLE. So it's a fairly safe ETF to play. If XLE includes all of energy. People need energy. We're going into years where we're going to have record energy. So it's good. Okay, I'm going to start the podcast now. What am I going to talk about first? Santa Claus rally. Let's look at SPY first then. I think my ass is going to be sore. Getting up and down throughout this podcast. God, and it's hot in here. Hold on, I got to turn on the ceiling fan. Let's hope I don't do another yank out. Do I want medium or do I want low? Medium's good. We took a big leg lower, it looks like. And Jim Cramer's on there going off about something. F him. F Cramer. I haven't gone on a good Cramer rant in a while. Oh, God, I can hear that ceiling fan in the microphone. I think I hear it in the microphone. Oh, well. You guys on the podcast, you'll hear it. XLV. That's healthcare. Yeah. XLV's crazy. I mean, if you're going into a recession, XLV is where you want to be. So you just had a great 7.52%. By the way, if you're part of TrendSpider, I do have the Spider Sectors watch list if you want me to share it. You know what? Here. If you guys are part of we'll share it here. There's the Sector Spider watch list. So you can, it's a good one to have. I'd scan it every day for cross-ups, for opportunities. Let's see. That's where I want it to be. That's where this should be. Why was it way over there? I don't know. Interesting. I guess oh, you know why? That's why. Okay, hold on. I'm going to change this before I start showing charts and stuff. I wanted it to be more on the chart than the actual price point. There we go. We're going to move that there. That looks good. Yeah. I don't care about the actual price of a stock. XLV, you definitely have downside. Although I will tell you, behind my head, The MACD. Let's move this over. Look at the MACD. It's got that button hook. The strike line just hasn't come down enough. But you're going to get cross up here soon. Your UNH, let me see. Core investments. UNH is at 525. Let's look at UNH. I think my dad's going to the workout room. So you got out with a loss. But you're starting to get a button hook here. It's going to use that 200 day. It's going to hug that 200 day. I mean, UNH is just a killer stock. Oh, the garbage came. So what does the 55 plus community do when the garbage comes? They immediately run outside to grab their garbage cans. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to start the podcast here. We're going to look at SPY. That's what I was doing. Hello, ADHD. You got a little button hook here, but will we hold it? I don't know. Here. Good morning. It's Thursday, December 22nd, and I guess my parents are going somewhere, but been on YouTube Live for 31 minutes, so if you are tuning in and you want to go back, just look at your timestamp at 31 minutes, and that should be where you go. There's also a transcript that you can just type in the symbol that you want to look at, and I'm usually pretty good about making sure that I mention the symbol. But if not, again, just look at the timestamp, and you'll be able to look at those things. So here is SPY. So traditionally, historically, the final 5 trading days of the year and the first 2 of the next year, that's what's referred to as the Santa Claus rally. They are historically strong. Thursday is today. It is opening up week. Remember what I always say. Let's quote Matt Damon. Fortune favors the brave. God, I'm pulling in Matt Damon, crypto quotes. But here's SPY. God, I gotta pause it. Come on. Okay. Hey, into bed. Go. Come on. Okay. There you go. Go on. Hey, into bed. Go. Good girl. Good girl. There you go. Okay, we'll start it up again. So, sorry, I had to pause the podcast real quick. Dog came in. But you want to buy on down days, and it's hard. It's super hard, specifically in this market. And specifically because we're bouncing off of that gap, and there's a lower gap here. And I'm showing SPY on the screen for anybody who's wondering. You've got the button hook of the MACD that is starting to come up, but it hasn't crossed up. But your RSI is already at 44. You had an interview with David Tepper today on CNBC where he pretty much said, do not buy, don't do anything. You got to be patient. And while I think there's going to be a Santa Claus rally, because I think we've sold off here, you can see where we've gone in December. December is one of my personal worst months of the year, and I think I only had 2 positive months this year to date because my overall portfolio, again, Apple is the large portion of my portfolio. It tracks. I was tracking against the NASDAQ for the majority of the year, but I made some switches, and it's tracking more towards the S&P now, I believe, but Apple kind of runs my portfolio. So while I say I'm down, I think most people should be down, because if you're not down, then you're playing a game where you're probably in and out of the market. And over the long term, you're just not going to beat the market. So from a SPY perspective, I think we've seen those two positive. Basically, we saw a positive candle on December 20th. We saw a red candle in the afternoon, and then we saw two positive candles yesterday where you closed higher than you opened. That's all that means. But they are super, super tiny. Yesterday's afternoon candle only has a 0.13% period. Your low was 385. Your high was 387. Not super, super big move. The morning yesterday, your low was 382. Your high was 387. So you've kind of hit that 387 both candles. Today, you're opening up lower. And Micron earnings had a lot to do with it. Micron, nothing they said yesterday was positive. Let me see if I even put notes because Micron missed, like I said they would. They pretty much gave horrible guidance going forward and said, we don't know when this kind of quote unquote weaker guidance, chip demand goes by. So they're just kind of sitting there, not necessarily doing anything, blah, blah, blah. But Santa Claus rally, yeah, should be good. Jackie from Instagram reached out, and I want to make sure I say this right. She says, I imagine others would enjoy hearing your insights as well. Here are the questions specifically speaking of Boyle and KOLD, SOXL, XOXS, and finally TQQ and SQQQ. So it's all the triple levered ETFs. If I'm correct, these inherently depreciate in value over time as what is a good indicator that it has moved to a lower price channel. She's asking, what's a good indicator? Specifically, how many times of breaking this lower resistance level would you say indicates it's a new price channel? If something dips for a day, comes back up to a normal price channel level, she's basically saying, okay, how do I trade these? Well, the reality is I don't. Sometimes I swing trade them, but the majority of time I'm an active trader pro, and I'm scalping these. So let's take KOLD because KOLD is just a monster these days. This is a 5-day, 5-minute chart. You take a look at this, and you did lose some confirmation here in after hours, but during the days, you pretty much had confirmation on a 5-minute chart. Let's shrink it down to a 2-day and take a look at yesterday in pre-market. Am I worried about dips like this? Probably not. You've got to, and again, it's the way that you do this. If you want to scalp this one, then you basically take a 5-minute chart on Active Trader Pro, and when you use a 9-day, and when it's under that 9-day, you don't trade it, you sell it. When it starts to lose its mojo, you basically get rid of it. There's no other good way that I know to trade these. Now, you could take, if we go back to Safari and we look at KOLD. We look at KOLD, and I was going over this on YouTube Live. You see that button hook up here? This is why my algorithm doesn't always work. It's a 4-hour window. These things move really quickly. So most likely, historically, you would look at this and say, yeah, I'm going to sell this at 21.22. But if you get greedy as fuck, you're going to hold on to it. Well, here, you had a great buy-in here at $12. It got you out with a 2% gain here on December 13th. So from 2 weeks, November 30th to December 13th, you had basically a 2% move. But up here, this was what? Almost 100% gain, 80% gain that you could have gotten out of. When you see that button hook in this, if you have to identify, and I say this all the time, you have to identify where you're in, where you're out. When you buy it, identify upside and downside. I bought Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is not doing well right now. It's back down to the price that I bought it at. Am I worried? Not really. $40.50 was where I bought it. Could have gotten out at about 43, I think, in the past, after I bought it. Here, 42.56 it hit. I think it hit 43 in the aftermarket. Not quite sure. But I identified, hey, I want, at $40.50, I want at least 44 on the upside. If I'm going to reconsider rebuying it, I'm going to get out at 36. Identify your in and out on the upside and downside. Simple as that. You've got to do that before you actually buy. If you do that before you buy, then you're not asking some guy on the internet, hey, when should I get out? Somebody did that yesterday, and I scolded him in the Facebook group. 3 rules. First is identify your in and out on the downside and upside when you buy it. Second rule, don't listen to some douche on the internet like me. We don't know anything more than you guys do. I had somebody, I told this story before. My cousin trades GameStop, and I pegged her to get out of GameStop at like 300 or 400 per share. And she's like, no, to the moon, to the moon, to the moon. And she stayed in. She bought at 5. Great trade to 300. Bad trade when you're holding on to 25. But, again, you got to identify your upside and downside. She identified her upside. It's long term. And kudos to her for sticking to that. Even Apple. I mean, God, Apple is my mainstay. If you would have traded Apple many times, let's look at this. We'll go to a weekly chart of Apple just because, hey, maybe I should have sold back here where it hit 180 in August. Maybe I should have sold back here in January where it hit close to 182. Maybe I should have done that. Maybe I should have sold here January 27th of 2020 and then rebought at the COVID lows. Maybe I should have sold down here in September 21st where it was down at 108. You just can't time it. Identify your in and out. So, AJ says I'm his favorite douche on the internet. Yeah. Rule number 3, never listen to Jim Cramer. I haven't gone on a Cramer rant in quite a while, but never listen to Jim Cramer. But yeah, Jackie, I mean, it's very personal. Trading is very, very personal. And if you're listening to somebody, they will lead you down a wrong path at some point in time. Just like I've led people down a wrong path too. If you guys listened back in April, some of the OGs back in April, I had led everybody to Shopify. And let's take a look at this nightmare. I said April has 100% win in Shopify. Yeah, well, it didn't. Here's a monthly of Shopify. And if we go back to, there's April. I mean, look at the slide. I said, yeah, it's going to bounce. It didn't fucking bounce. It was down 37% in April. So I will lead you down a wrong path just as much as I will lead you down a right path. Just like Cramer will lead you down a wrong path, just like he will lead you down a right path. Cramer has been absolutely 100% right about Boeing. He said buy Boeing when it dips. You wanted to buy Boeing when it dipped. Honestly, look at this, 129. It's at 195 right now. So, you want to absolutely make your buys and sells on information. That's why I tell people to get TrendSpider and why I give away my algorithm. My algorithm isn't perfect. It's a guide. The indicators that you use are a guide. And when you're using these triple levered, you can't identify absolutely 100% when they're in the channel. You basically go from a long-term perspective of right now, KOLD is clearly in an upward state. Look at that. See how the 200-day is continuing down, but the 50-day is bouncing off of it. So it's going to be in an upward state. And when you're in an upward state on the long term, you can go short term and probably be okay, but identify your downside. So yeah, it's super hard. And David Tepper was on, and he made a great point. He said, "Listen, I'm an optimistic guy. I don't like playing the short of a stock market. I don't like betting against the U.S. I'm the same way. I'd rather make my money going long than short." And Tesla's a great example. and I'm jumping all over the place. But Tesla is just a perfect example. If you guys were on YouTube earlier today, Carter Worth, I showed it I retweeted it last night. Carter Worth said, "We no longer want to be short Tesla. Indeed, our thinking here is to initiate some small longs." He wants to initiate small longs. I still say, I don't think you time this. I think you wait. That MACD is still in a downward trend. You're still on the bottom end of that Bollinger Band. If you get this button hook here, then I think you can enter in. This is why my algorithm is so important to me, because I don't go in for these longs. The RSI is at 21, and he points out on his charts that the RSI is super low, and it's been like this 3 other times in recent history. And he does think that, boom, you can kind of time it. Now, he's looking at longs. I'm looking at putting the 50% that I got out in July, and I'm looking like a genius now. I wasn't looking like a genius when I got out here right before earnings. And I said, I just don't feel comfortable. And I think I sold at 230, 240, somewhere around there. It rode all the way up to 320, 330. And then it just sank. And it just, kind of went down. So I didn't time it. I just played a hunch. I took 50% of my position off. I have 50% in the bank. I can buy it again. So you don't want to do that. And remember, Jackie, those triple levered ETFs are not part of my long-term play. They are decaying assets. So anything more than a week, you're just kind of taking it for granted. There have been months where this thing on my algorithm has been a buy, but I would indicate that you probably should sell on a Friday and just buy on a Monday if that's the case, because a weekend, you can get killed on a weekend. By the way, breaking news, Google's YouTube just signed the deal with the NFL. That is bullish for Google. So GOOG is the play because you don't want GOOGL. GOOG is what they buy when they do stock buybacks. So Jackie, hopefully that answers your question. I don't know that it's 100% answering your question, but in my mind, it's very personal. I think those triple levered ETFs, whatever you're trading, whether it's natural gas, whether it's oil, whether it's copper, whether it's silver, any of those things, you can find triple levered ETFs for pretty much anything. You can find them for chips. You can find them for healthcare. You can find them for pretty much anything. But it's a super, super quick trade in my mind. And I have used it as a strategy before. For instance, energy. You can find a triple levered energy ETF, and I'll do some research if you guys want. But, the other G, like I tell everybody in my life, the other G that you want to rely on for information is Google, not just Gary. Google is your best friend. Go and look up energy ETFs. I've got, like I said on YouTube Live earlier, I've got high triple digits in energy these days. 6 figures, I mean. So, you do want to, if you think that stuff's going down and you're in a brokerage account where you're going to get taxed on it, and you may want long-term capital gains because it's 15% versus maybe you're a high income earner and you're earning like $140,000, $150,000 a year, and you're going to get taxed based on your tax rate, your income tax rate, and it's going to be like a 30% tax if you sell it as a short-term gain versus a long-term capital gains. So know your tax situation. I'm not your tax advisor, but know your tax situation. I have not done that. So Sandeep Kumar wrote to me, you don't have to cover this right away, but I have a few scenarios of COVID darlings that are beaten down crazy, and he's debating if he should DCA or sell and harvest tax loss. MTTR. Let's see. I'm not going to say where you bought it at. That's too much information. Matterport. It's interesting. I'm a hustler on like in my own mind. I tell you guys I'm lazy as F all the time, but I'm a hustler. And I bought a 3D camera. And Matterport during the the real estate boom of the last couple of years, Matterport is a software program that if you go into Zillow and you look at a 3D version of a house where you can kind of click through and you can see those photos, Matterport does that. It's the software that does that. They are not great product, bad business. They don't make money. And they came out with a valuation that was huge. Price to sales is 6. That's huge. They're expected to lose 690%. They're expected to gain earnings per share 30% next year. It's down 87%. This was basically, Sandeep Kumar's right, a COVID favorite. Ironically, the current candle, it has a buy at $2.65. You're in the same situation I am, where I've got some big losers, and my thing is over the next couple of days, I'm going to take some tax loss harvesting. I am going to take some of my probably Apple profits, and I'm going to go against what I always say, but I'm going to take some of my Apple profits. And I think my average cost per share on some of my long-term Apple is like $2 or $5 per share. I'm going to take some of that, and I'm going to sell some of my long-term losers. And I'm going to take that capital, and I'm going to take David Tepper's advice, and I'm going to hold on to that capital. And then probably in the next year, I'm going to start deploying that capital into better sectors and readjust my portfolio. So Matterport, while I say you don't necessarily want to get out because it just crossed up, look at all the cross-ups. The performance of the algorithm, Sandeep Kumar, you lose 73% in the algorithm. You lose 75% in just buying and holding over 1,000 candles. 1,000 candles. 31 positions. Your average win is 11%. And that's only because you had some fairly big winners back here. And I think it's before this year. Let's see. Look at those win. Like this is 4%, 3%, 2%. But if we go back 1,000 candles, I've got to bring this back. It's a couple of years. 14%. You can see. But I'd probably get rid of it. I'd probably tax loss harvest. That's the first one he says. Yeah. I'd say readjust. That would be my thing. Alexandra on Instagram. Hey, Gary, I'm listening to your pod now. I'm curious if you could give an opinion on, Oshkosh. OSK. Now, I thought this was the kids' clothing. Let me see. But she seems to think, it's heavy farm equipment. That's what's crazy. I thought this was the kids' clothing. I was telling her, I said, hey, you got kids? I don't have kids. I don't buy Oshkosh. I'm tiny, but I ain't that tiny. My teddy bear might dress up in Oshkosh, but not me. But it's trash. Now, here's what stands out to me right now. Look at these downgrades, and it's all this year. Price target is about 92. You're trading at about 88 right now. It's been beaten down. 64 PE, super expensive. Down 21% year to date. You're 29% below. You're right in the middle of your 52-week range. It's got a 1.68% dividend. These guys design, manufacture, and market specifically vehicles and vehicles bodies worldwide. The company's access equipment segment provides aerial work platforms and telehandlers for use in various construction, industrial, and institutional maintenance applications. So you can read all about that. It is an industrial. It's a farm and construction equipment. My thoughts on it, it was funny because I was talking to her yesterday, and I'm like, it just passed up. 86.83 is the price. It's trading at about 87.20. I don't know that I would necessarily sell out of this, but I don't know that I'd necessarily get into this. The algorithm makes you 3%. Buying and holding makes you 2%. Positions are 29 positions. You win 28% of the time. Your average win is 10%. Here's the thing that you have to look at. I mean, nothing really stands out at me other than it crossed the 200-day and it bounced off that 200-day, which to me would signal a pretty good support level. And if you do have a $92 price target, the problem that I have is, and what I'd want you to do research on, is where's their business going? Because it's named best places to work. Who the F cares? Oshkosh Defense bags $543 million in U.S. Army order for joint light tactical vehicles. That's good. You want to look at 22 most ethical companies in the U.S. This doesn't tell me that it's a great business. It tells me that there's just a good place to work, which will keep talent around, which probably keeps your, let's look at insider tradings. All this year, there hasn't been one buy. They've exercised options. All of the senior executives have exercised options. And it looks like around $90 and $77. They're selling. I don't think it provides a good business. My take on it, but you might see something different. I just don't see anything that tells me that this is going to go up to 150 or 115. It's not a horrible, it's expensive. I mean, the forward PE is only 9. Their earnings per share next year is expected to rise by 164%. I can guarantee you that's getting pulled back. So, Alexandra, I might stay away from that one. And she's got the algo too, because she quotes the algo with me. Tom from Twitter, I emailed you about this VKTX. I think this one could go to 16. What does the chart show? Remember, it is the same small category as the biotech treating liver disease like MDGL. I sold most of MDGL yesterday. I don't think there's much left after the run. So VKTX, let me look for Tom. VKTX. I think that, Viking Therapeutics. What you have to know about Tom is a doctor. Most of us, and if you're listening to me on YouTube Live, you ain't no freaking doctor. Tom's a doctor. He understands this stuff way better. And like I always tell everybody, buy what you know. Tom knows this stuff. So I don't play in the biopharma industry like some of the earnings. The algorithm makes you 104% on this versus buying and holding makes you 27%. 27% is nothing to scream at. Or nothing to say, hey, that's horrible. That's a great return in this market. 39 positions. You win 23% of the time. Your average win is 30%. So it's a super, super volatile stock. You can see you made 51% on just this trade, but it was from September all the way to November. You don't really have a catalyst, but look at that volume that's driving this up. You have a gap here between 413 and 524, Tom. You're trading at 817, but it's got all the confirmation in the world. The RSI is crazy high at 89. I would not get into this, but if you're in it, I wouldn't sell out of it. I'd probably wait for a couple of days for it. My guess is that if you come down to the 9-day, which is trading at about $9 right now, $6.96. These are my old eyes. And then, Tom, if you can invent something where I can see, not LASIK because I'm too scared of those damn clamps that go on your eyes. But if you come down to 7, I would sell because I think that's going to be the start of the move down to fill that gap between 4 and 5. That would be my take on it, Tom. Let's see. Tom also VRDN. And Tom tipped me a big tip on his birthday. So I do a lot for Tom. 1972 was the buy-in on November 11th. Now, the RSI is at 72. You've still got confirmation on this, Tom. Viridin Therapeutics. You've got the problem that you have with this Viridin Therapeutics is back here on August 15th when they announced earnings, they announced something big because it gapped from 15 to 19. So you've got that gap there. You've also got a gap here between 23 and 24. It is above the 9-day, so and it's still trading on the high end of the Bollinger Bands. So I wouldn't get out of it, but I'd probably look at if you got to I would say 25. If it goes down to 25, I think it's covering that gap down to 23. And if it goes down to past 21, I think you're covering this gap below the 200-day, and you're going to sink down to 15. But it's a therapeutics. You know more about that stuff than I do. The reality of this is, if you trade what you know, 100% trade what you know. Let's go. We went over Tesla. I haven't gone over the chart in Tesla. Here's the chart in Tesla, and why I wouldn't necessarily. I think I went over this on YouTube Live. But Carter Worth says, hey, you should buy Tesla. I don't know that I'd buy Tesla right now. I remember I got out in July, 50% of my position, pulled it out. Hey, what's up? And then I haven't put that back in. So I've got that sitting on the sideline. I want to put it back in. I think it's like $15,000, $20,000 that I want to put back in. And I believe in Tesla. I drive the car. My parents drive the car. My buddy works there. It's a great company to work for as long as you're working hard. Some of the people who say they don't treat employees right, probably not the best employees. But I don't want to disparage anybody because different people have different experiences. I wouldn't buy this chart right now. I'd wait for some confirmation above that 9-day. So while Carter Worth says start your position, I don't know that I actually would. Zephan wants Cleveland Cliffs. And before I forget, since it's a podcast favorite, Cleveland Cliffs, you're out. You made a 7% gain on this one. I think, see that little gap there? It's between 14 and 1434. It looks like it was filled, and I think you're going to get a MACD cross up here. But the RSI is already at 63. So from a swing trade perspective, I don't think you got much in there. But I could be wrong. It's kind of using that 200-day as a resistance level, and it's just kind of clinging onto it. It's going to take quite a catalyst to jump over that. That would be my take on Cleveland Cliffs. Oh, by the way, if you want to look, Zip Trader Charlie did a great look at Tesla last night from an overall perspective. If you hate Elon for what he did for Twitter and you don't use Twitter, you have no right to comment on that because it's a private company. I pretty much agree with what Charlie said, which is, hey, it's not Twitter that's bringing Tesla down. It's the macroeconomics. It's just an expensive stock, but it's getting better. And he brought up a really good point that GM is actually cutting their electric vehicles forecast. Where do electric vehicles get sold then? That's a Tesla. Tesla's the one who can fill that gap. So if somebody's looking for an electric vehicle, you're going to get a $7,500 rebate next year from a Tesla. You're getting a $7,500 rebate from Tesla today to pick up one of the cars that they have in stock. And you can absolutely 100% negotiate with them for cars that are on the lot and done. So I go and watch Zip Trader Charlie on that one. Costco, another podcast favorite. This is in my core portfolio. Personally, I don't own it. Shocking, but I don't. $462.10 is the price. It's trading at $455. The RSI is down at 30. Here's what you have to know about Costco, and here's where I would be kind of gambling a little bit. I might put 10% of what I want into Costco right now. Say I'm going to put $10,000 into Costco. I'll buy $1,000. And I do think that that's a good thing. December 20th, Credit Suisse resumed. Their price target goes to $520. Tesla Advisory Group outperformed. Their target went to $580. So there's here's the PE, 34. I think what they're pricing in is a membership increase, some of those guys. And you do have an algorithm buy-in. You've got some gaps up here. You got a gap up here, 477 to 481. Your 200-day is still at 500. I think 500 is still your swing. Under 500, I think you can add to it. Once it gets over 500, I think you start taking profits. And that's if you identify this as one that you want to trade. If you identify this as one you want to hold, freaking buy it here. Just buy it, and then 5 years from now, you'll be perfectly happy. Walmart crossed up. Walmart, while it's a cross up, I don't know that I'd necessarily add to it because the 200-day, it's trading above its 200-day, which is around 138. It's still on the high end of that Bollinger Band. You just got out of Walmart on December 8th with a 12% gain. Huge, huge move in Walmart. If we pull this volume, you can clearly see if we pull that back to, we pulled it back to about September. There's a volume shelf that it's sitting on right now that might provide it some support. But if you go through that volume shelf, you're at 134. So I would be a little bit careful because you haven't fully covered this gap down to 141. If you're going to buy it based on this 145, my guess is you wait until 141, and then I think you could see that MACD move up. But I'm always skeptical above this 200-day with a stock that has gone under the 200-day recently. And you can see right back here where they announced this was their earnings back in May, and it was just a bad earnings, and you went from 140 down to 120. Now, trading from the 120s up to the 140s here, great trade. Snowflake is another core portfolio holding that came up on a cross-up. 146.76, you're trading at 141. I continue to say that this one is anything under 130, I think you buy. There's a gap here between 131 and 127 that hasn't been filled. I can't say buy it here, even though the algorithm says buy it. I think you just wait. It's my take on Snowflake. CEG. I posted I did a channel last night, and let me look at here's what we're going to do. Where did I post it? Did I post it on Twitter? Yes, I did. So here's the channel that I drew. And you guys can see, by the way, that's how you sign up if you follow me on Twitter. Look at that channel I drew. So if you're at the bottom end, and again, it's using this 200-day as its support on longer term. If I were to pull that out, I'll go back to TrendSpider and pull it out. But you can see it's just at that 200-day, 89.66. We'll go back to look at CEG over here. And we'll go to a daily. This is Constellation Energy Group, by the way. And it's a rather new stock. It looks like it just debuted in January 2022. But you do have this gap down here. The 200-day just started showing up, but it's using that 50-day pretty clearly. And this is a daily stock, daily chart. You're on the bottom end of this Bollinger Band, so I do think that you have the movement available to the upside. So if you're going to follow the algorithm on this one, the algorithm makes you 29%. You've had 14 positions. 29% are wins. Your average win is 17%. That's because this one move, 49%, was a big one. But you do have this gap here that's still above the 200-day. Between 69 and 70. I don't think you get down there. It's still a fairly, they're not making money, but they probably will turn profitable. Year to date, it's up 113%. So October 3rd, Credit Suites outperform $98 price target. So you still have some room to hit that $98 price target. Water time. Let me see my notes now. CEG was a good one. Boeing, if you want to know where Jim Cramer was right, it wasn't buying Boeing at 220. It wasn't buying Boeing at 240. It wasn't buying Boeing at 300 like he suggested. It was buying Boeing at 129. You're still in this trade. God, it looks strong. But if they reinitiate the dividend, this is a $250 stock. So I don't think you get into it now, but I posted the watch list for Vanguard ETFs on the private Facebook group. So if you're part of the private Facebook group, If you're not, just hit the link tree in the description below, and there's a Facebook symbol right under my picture. You can join there. There's all the links to the podcast, to supporting me, to tipping me, to changing your phone service to visible. I've changed like 3 people to visible. Remember, your costs are just as important as your income. So you want to cut those costs if you want to live the FIRE lifestyle. Jackie asked, along with her, hey, how do you trade these triple levered ETFs? When are these specific ETFs thought to be completely die off? And they don't. So here's what they do, Jackie. Those triple levered ETFs, they do similar to what a lot of stocks do. When they get threatening of delisting, like down below $1 and stuff, because they've fallen, because their fees are so high, they do what's called a reverse split. I got into this with UCL. They did a 25-to-1 reverse split. So for every 1 share of stock, every 25 shares of stock that you have, you get 1. And that drives the price back up. So it just keeps them listed. That's essentially what happens. Oh, by the way, anybody that has TrendSpider, and if you'd like to become an affiliate of TrendSpider, like I am, one of the preferred partners, or if you just want to, refer some friends and make some money, let me know. I'll send you a link. I think it's the pyramid scheme is what they say, but you become an affiliate. Just like I'm not an affiliate of anybody in particular. I'm a preferred partner of TrendSpider, so nobody gets a piece of my stuff, but I would get a piece of whatever you sell. So if you're interested and you've written your own algorithm, or you're sharing it with friends, or want to just refer people to TrendSpider because you love it so much, let me know. I'll send you a link. CarMax. So anybody listening to the news, or my friend Nikki wants me to go and help her buy a car for her sister. And I've said probably shouldn't buy a car. So if you want to read stories about this, there probably is what's called a car bubble. You've heard about the housing bubble. The car bubble is probably coming up. With Carvana assuming that they declare bankruptcy at some point in time, there will be a glut of used cars on the market. You're already seeing from some of the wholesalers that they're buying up Carvana cars at a lower discount. CarMax reported today they're down 12%. They opened up at 54. Yesterday they closed at 60. So they're down at 54. You've got this ascending triangle into earnings. It won't continue. Your RSI is completely down. I wouldn't buy into this business. It's the used car business. It's not going very well. So I'm telling Nikki, let's wait until next year to buy this car. That's kind of my thing. Let's look at the Chinese stocks are up because of China is reopening. REI. I've led you guys into REI. It's got a button hook, and it's not a super strong button hook. And the RSI took off a little bit higher than I would have liked with that little move up. The RSI is at 43, but the MACD is still hanging above. Let me open this up a little bit. See, it's hanging above the strike line, and it's going to. There's a magnet that brings it up to this oscillator, the 0 point. So I think you can hold on till then. From this point, if you got in at 235. I think you're probably waiting. But again, remember, do not listen to a douche on the internet. Identify when you get in where you want to get out. If 10%, I usually identify 10% as my maximum loss. Do I listen to it? Hell no. Sometimes, look at some of my portfolio. I'm down like 30, 40, 50% on some of this stuff. So I'm as bad as you guys, but remember my advice to you. Identify your downside when you get into these things. Let's take a look at Hype Train Ford, because Jim Cramer hasn't been texting Jim Farley recently, and that's why you're seeing this move downward. But you're out of Ford. The MACD is down below. It's not really moving up. It's not a great stock right now, but it's probably getting to a buy. I think at this $11 range, you can move to that $13 range. I like it before earnings. It might be a pretty good buy here. But again, from a car perspective, if we're heading into a recession, cars are just going to get killed. That's it for today. So did I go an hour? 42 minutes. I think that's plenty. It's Thursday. Remember, Monday's a holiday. So tomorrow, I don't think that if you have identified trades, I would probably get out. Not that Christmas is going to be bad, just that there's probably going to be some. Look at the news. Is there good news in the market or is there bad news in the market? Overwhelming, you've got bad news in the market. So I don't necessarily think that I would hold on to these and just hope. And Jackie, I hope I gave you your answer. If I didn't, write to me. If you guys made it this far, rank me or rate me on Spotify. You can just hit that 5-star. You can't really write a review. On Apple, go into your library and find my show and hit the 5-star. I've stolen a couple of people's phones. I've put some reviews in there. Some of them haven't shown up. I think they know that, hey, I'm stealing the phone and putting in reviews. So, but steal people's phones in bars, put the review in. It's a fun time. It's a way to, talk to somebody you don't know. Say, hey, can I borrow your phone? My friend's got a podcast. His name is Chad. He does a lacrosse podcast. And then just put a review in for me. He'll like it. But I'll be on tomorrow. Tomorrow will be more of a summary day. Today, I'm changing my parents from Comcast to Verizon. Tomorrow, I will be changing their phone service. And like I said, if you're paying anything more than $30 a month for your phone service, go down below, change to Visible. Hit my link tree up. I've got a link to, you get $20 off. I just changed one of my friends. Essentially, her first month was $30. It got dinged down to $10. There's no contract, no long-term commitment. You basically just text your current provider. You ask them for your PIN. You put it into Visible. You download the eSIM on your phone. Boom, you're transferred over. It's within minutes, and you're paying $30 a month. It's prepay, not post-pay. But the only difference is when you pay, not how much you're paying. But it's $30 a month. I reduced her bill, so she went from paying $70 a month for Verizon service, 2 gigs of data, constantly going over, getting dinged $15 a month. So it was closer to $85. Had an old iPhone 11, went to Verizon, and they said, yeah, we can upgrade you to $90 a month, and you're going to have to pay, I think it was $600 for a new phone. She went to Visible and got a phone, paying $30 a month for the phone through Affirm, which is a buy now, pay later service. $30 a month for the phone, $30 a month for, and she got the 13 Pro, I believe, $30 a month for 24 months for the phone. No contract. She just has to stay on for 90 days. She'll get a $250 gift card from Visible after 90 days. Also, she can sell her current phone, the iPhone 11, to, I forget, it starts with a G, but just Google it, how to sell your phone. $220 for her phone in good condition. So she basically gets a free phone, $30 a month. She's paying $60 a month instead of $85 a month, and she has unlimited instead of just 2 gig service. So check it out. If you have any questions, hit me up. Super, super simple, but we ordered the phone, came in the mail the next day. It's unbelievable. So I'll be changing my parents over tomorrow from AT&T, their 2 gig service. They're paying $60 a month for the 2 gig service. So any questions, hit me up. Support the podcast. Use the links below. Thanks, you guys, for listening. I will talk to you tomorrow. Oh, my effing God, it is hot in here. Morning, Dawson. I'm dying. It's got to be 80 degrees in this room. I'm about to go underwear and shirtless. Yeah, if should I turn the camera off if I go shirtless? You guys know you like these old man titties. Export song to disk. Podcast. Okay. Let's see where we're at. I'm going to move this over to Active Trader Pro. Active Trader Pro KOLD lost its... Is Boyle running? Let's see. Boyle's running. Look at that. We want to look at Wells Fargo. It's below where I bought it. You're guaranteed below where I bought it. It's the nature of it. Goes to 36. I'm selling at 36. But let's take a look in Safari. Where is my Safari? Boom, boom, boom. Oh, come on. WFC. I identified this as a trade, so if it goes lower, I may add more. Again, I think I only bought 10% of what I wanted. Maybe it was last night, Westchester County Airport. That's a private plane that Sam Bankman-Fried was flown in from the Bahamas on. By the way, F. Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang. What douches. Why are we giving them, they're pleading guilty. Yeah, they get jail sentences, but they're getting treated lightly. Unless they're saying that Sam Bankman-Fried was the mastermind of everything. I don't know. What is this? Translate. Here.
Boss, call me when you're free.
Yeah. That's the message I got in Spanish, I think. Here.
Boss, call me when you're free.
Yeah. I had to have it translated. I'm telling her I'm going to call her in 30, 40 minutes. Do you want to go out there? Okay. You want to go get your ball? Okay. Go on. It's 100 fucking degrees in here. Oh. God. I'm going to turn this fan on high. Oh. Who wants me to look at something? Anybody? I gotta upload this podcast. So, hey, was it a good pod? I had a lot of chats today. You guys are chatty today. Create an episode. Browse. 12:22. I can't open a window. Actually, maybe that's not a bad idea. Amit, you're a genius. You're a genius, Amit. Oh. I'm probably going to get too hot, but they got the heat blaring. That's the real problem is my parents have the heat blaring. Oh, it's playing through here. We'll do this one. I like this one, Pedal Rider. I'll look at MU. I'm looking at it from a short-term perspective. I got people on the outside now. Here comes the men's group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people walking 5 side by side in the fucking road, and they will not get out of the way. This is old person like living 101. You walk in the street and you don't get out of the way when the car comes. Boy, this Caroline Ellison, what an ugly mofo. Jesus. Oh, and he had some crypto bros in there too. Let me look at MU on Active Trader Pro. Wells Fargo has no confirmation whatsoever. If you guys want to get in cheaper than I did. Yeah, my parents have those, but I think they put them in their bedroom. You got to understand, when you live with 80-year-old people, they don't care about you. Echo Bee's what my dad has. MU lost all of its confirmation here. You've got nothing. You know what? Let's see. Look at that. Vixie's coming back into play. Save episode. Buy on down. If today is the Santa Claus rally, what do I want to say? Oh, triple levered ETF trading. TQQQ, SOXL, Boyle, market update, 12/22/22. Hey, it's 12/22/22. Okay, I opened up that window and now it's getting cold. Oh. That was enough. And I'm going to turn this to low. NASDAQ is down 2%. I don't even want to even look at my portfolio, but by the way, you guys may start to hear ads. Spotify hasn't approved me yet, but they said they're going to do ads on my show. They wrote to me and said they were going to do ads, but I haven't seen them yet. I want to open up my notes. Santa's late. Santa's fucking late as fuck. We're going to do this. Boom. I don't think I necessarily went over okay. Instagram. Okay. Do Instagram. I take people's names out. Do Twitter. Hopefully Sandeep Kumar doesn't hate me after I told him that he shouldn't be in Matterport. I do mention, whoever writes to me on, I do mention you guys in and by the way, if you don't know how TQQQ and SQQQ and Boyle and KOLD, if you don't know what they're trading or how they're factored or calculated, don't trade them. CarMax. REI Ford. I think that's good. And we'll copy this. I don't think I went over too much. I think I'm more than I rambled today. Publish now. I definitely rambled today. OSK. Man, that was a great idea. I liked OSK. I just couldn't find anything positive about it. I think there's better places to put your money. Tesla. I like Costco, man. I think today's YouTube was better than the podcast. I think I hung up for you guys. Well, I performed for you guys. Did I put SOXL in it? Yeah, I did. We're going to do SOXS. KOLD. And seriously, if any of you guys want to start recommending people, it's a pyramid scheme, man. Get in on the pyramid scheme. I'll help you guys get set up. REI. We're going to say, let's see what's trading in the Active Trader Pro window. PR, QR. AMC is up there. AMD. SPY. Amazon. I didn't say Apple, but I'll put Apple in. We have MU, yep. NVIDIA. We'll do that. Okay. Tweet. Let me see if they put ads in. Automated ads. Your application is under review. Fuckers told me they would approve me. Bum, 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 bum. Anybody have any questions? Any concerns? Any issues? Okay, here I'm going to switch back over to show you. Let me quick GarageBand real quick. Quick GarageBand, save. And I'm going to switch back over to Safari because we're looking at Wells Fargo. So take a look here. I'm going to zoom in for you. See that 4098 and 4084? That could be a gap if we don't move up today. And if we go back to Active Trader Pro and we look at Wells Fargo, I don't think it's got confirmation. Nope. Starting to. I don't think it's going to break that 40, but I hope it doesn't. We're 1.3% down on the Dow, 2% down on the NASDAQ, and 1.8% down on the By the way, if you're still listening, hit the thumbs up button. And why is this not charging? Let me see. Why is that? Does that say it's not charging? It should be. There we go. That one's not a powered one. That's why it wasn't charging. KOLD 2057. It's over that 20, man. If you got in at 17 and you're up at 20, you had that run. Okay, with that, I am out of here. You guys have a great day. By the way, I saw some new faces, new chatters. Happy to see it. Happy to have you guys here. The blonde is going to get blonder. I'm going to dye it here in about another couple minutes. So I'll throw on the dye. Oh, I can't because Verizon's coming at 11. Maybe I will. If the guy shows up, I just got some hair dye in my hair. Big deal. Larry, let me look at CLF. Because I said don't get into it. Holy shit, it is running. What the hell happened to CLF? I said don't get into it. See, I'll lose you money. Wow, look at the gap in CLF. Hold on. What's that news from? UBS initiate cover $17 price. Oh, look at that. Cleveland Cliffs shares moved up 2.3% in pre-market trades after the steelmaker said it will achieve higher annual fixed prices for steel in the calendar year 2023. Significantly lower steelmaking unit costs. God, this is a great company. I'm putting this in my notes for tomorrow. Bum, 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 bum. Friday. CLF. Higher steel prices, lower costs. I was wrong. Catalyst moves to a $20 price target. I think a 20 would probably be correct. Let me just look. You got a 15 floor, probably a $20. Yeah, I think you're moving up to this area. See these gaps here? That 18 to 1941. I think you're moving to that. At some point in time, shit, it's already at 1645, but boom. Larry, you're right. Larry caught CLF before I did, man. See? Larry, you better be in that private Facebook group. You just reached legend status on that one. See, so, and here's another great thing. Oh, I wasn't on this. This is what I was looking at, by the way, on Active Trader Pro. Look at that move in CLF. And here's if you wanted, say you're watching Cleveland Cliffs. For some reason, you just got a hard on for steel. And you love this company. You can set up in TrendSpider. Tell me when it gaps. There's a gap in a 4-hour window, in a daily. I mean, you can look at the daily. Look, we had an ascending triangle. We should have seen it. But that's going to move up. See, remember I said 1957 is the 200-day on the daily. I think that's where you're going. Honestly, it's just, but here's what you have to realize too. Let's go to a weekly. We'll go to a weekly and see you're hanging on to that 200-day. The only time it really dipped below the 200-day was COVID. And so back here pre-COVID, you're at $8. So should the stock be up that high? Let's see. It's got a 3.28% dividend. Let me do this. Cleveland Cliff competitors. The main competitors are TRQ. So let's see. This is 3.28. Let's look at TRQ. 11.9. MP Materials. Let's look at MP. 20. LAC, Lithium Americals, which I don't know why they compete with Cleveland Cliffs. They're not even making money. So, yeah, Tom wrote to me. Let me see. He wrote to me about BTU. I don't always say. Arch is the one he likes. 21% dividend. BTU is a no dividend. 3. Let's see what Arch is. And they have a 2. God. Let's look at Active Trader Pro for Arch and BTU. Arch. Arch is down. And BTU up. But it's lost its way. VIX's up above 7. The VIX is climbing, man. Look at that. Means volatility's back. Okay, mofos. Degenerates. And you gambling fuckers. I'm out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey, and happy trading. Hopefully you guys didn't get into Wells Fargo and you're in Cleveland Cliffs and the other ones. I think Wells Fargo hits probably, it's at its session lows. 40.26 is the low. If it dips under 40, I think you can use that 40 to probably buy. You know what? Here. Let's see. We're going to go back into TrendSpider and we're going to say WFC. And I am going to say create alert. We're going to say no. Create alert. I want to say, I don't want the lower Bollinger Band. Oh, come on. What do I want? Create alert. Let's see. I want to create alert when it goes below 40. Is REI down that low? Let's see. Wow, REI here. This is just one that keeps on losing. This is ADD at its best, by the way, where I say I'm going like 20 minutes later, I'm still here. Because you fuckers keep dragging me in. The overall market wants to go down. Okay, YouTube is paying $2 billion annually, and Google stock just got hit. Let's see if it took a hit. Yeah, this was when Sunday Ticket was announced. You had about 90. We got no confirmation whatsoever. So, okay. I gotta go call some friends before Verizon shows up. See you guys tomorrow. Larry, hit me up on Facebook. Yeah, you just reached legend status.